Yeah, so I actually come from a family of business owners. So my dad, it comes from his dad, right? My granddaddy. We have plantation of tobacco out in Dominican Republic. We have fields. We have the whole shebang, right? Moving forward, when my dad came here to New York, he actually opened up a cigar store lounge, so we get the cigars made and the leaves, grow in the Dominican Republic. They come out here. So my dad has been operating that business for 20 plus years now.
Life that I'm living. Sit back, chill, it's not about that business with the focus of making millions. It's the stuff that dreams are made of, and no hater can stop the mission I had in the affairs of taking care of business. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business. I'm your host, Marvell Robinson, and I'm happy to be with you today as we continue on talking about business in the local community of South Bend, Indiana, Mishawaka, Indiana, Elkhart, Indiana, and many, many other places to bring information to our young audience about business. Today, we have a special guest that's going to help us talk a little bit about her own personal journey when it comes to being in the world of business, as well as talking a little bit about a resource here in the local community that could be an asset to those who are starting businesses. And when it comes especially thinking about financial literacy. Well, today we have with us Bella. Bella, how you doing today, Miss Lady?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. So, as we normally do on the show, Bella, we want to delve a little bit into your background and talk a little bit about you as a person before we delve into the realities of what it is to be a business owner and taking advantage of some of the resources. So, to begin with, Bella, where are you originally from?
So I am originally from Dominican Republic. I came to New York in 1999, like 7, 8 years old. So I grew up in New York.
Okay, so you're a New Yorker. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. So in New York, let's talk a little bit about your situation there. What school did you attend, and did you go to college?
Yeah, so I graduated from North Rockland High School. I went to Rockland Community College. Um, didn't specify anything there. Then I became a mom in my 2 year of college, my first 2 years of college, of community college. And I kind of took a break for a little bit. Then I decided to go into culinary school actually, and I am actually a chef.
Oh, okay. Did not know that about you. So that's good stuff. So you like to cook, huh? Okay, good stuff. Yeah. So since you took up culinary and you delved into that word, 'cause you claim chef with mightiness. So I like that. Um, how did you end up in South Bend, Indiana? What brought you here?
Yeah, so I was formally married and I came here with my ex-husband, and because he has family out here in the Chicago area, it was a little bit more economical to live and raise a family in consideration to New York, right, where it's really, really expensive. The relationship didn't work out, but I just ended up staying here. I found it very, very much more economical to be a single mom, a single woman in this area and try to take care of my children than in New York. So I just kind of stayed.
Okay, understandable. Very understandable, especially during these times that are so trialing economically. So I totally understand that shift. Um, when it comes to your establishing a business, where did you exactly start your business? Was it in New York or was it here? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I actually come from a family of business owners. So my dad, it comes from His dad, right, my granddaddy, we have plantation of tobacco out in Dominican Republic. We have fields, we have the whole shebang, right? Moving forward, when my dad came here to New York, he actually opened up a cigar store lounge. So we get the cigars made and the leaves, grow in the Dominican Republic. They come out here. So my dad has been operating that business for 20 plus years now. So he's always embarrassed me to get into like the business world, right? The business ownership world. And I've always known that I've wanted to. I just didn't know what I was going to precisely do. And even though I enjoy cooking, um, I actually branched off to more of like a translation service where I can help gap that bridge between the English speaking and the Spanish speaking, being an Afro-Latina who is fluent in both languages. But my businesses started out here in South Bend is where I actually, did my LLC.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. That answered so many questions, and obviously, your father was the mentor for you when it comes to business. He was the example. So you are. It sounds like you. This is generational business ownership that you're coming from, which is beautiful. Not just normal domestic, but on a whole international scale where you doing business from DR. So is that something you're still tapped into in addition to your own business you started here in South Bend?
So I'm not really like in the cigar world per se. It's always going to be something that's in our family. That one day may I have to step in and take ownership or take over, maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But as of right now, my business that I created here in South Bend is slightly completely different, right? It's more about the community. I'm trying to eliminate heartache between the Spanish community that doesn't understand a lot of the resources and a lot of the programs that are happening in our town that they can benefit from, not just as individuals, but as families that don't have the ability to understand English, to understand what's going on, right? So, my services are going to focus more into translating marketing materials, maybe webinars or informational sessions that are normally not given in English. I want to open up that gap and that um limitation that a lot of places have of not having somebody that is fluent that can actually communicate these services to the Spanish community.
Okay, that is beautiful. That is very, 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 very beautiful. Appreciate you investing your time and energy into such a task. I mean, again, it's beautiful to see that you've come to South Bend to contribute to it as well. So what is the name of your business exactly? And it sounds like, just for clarity, your business, its primary focus is to bridge the gaps. So what is the actual name of your company that you established here?
Yeah, so I called it Bridge Language Solutions. And now I have bridge spelled with a Y because in the Spanish language, the Y is RI. So it's a little bit of a unique spelling, but it was a bridge language solution. And yes, it's focusing on bridging the language gap in between the communities.
Okay, okay, good stuff, good stuff. So now let's talk a little bit about, we understand your motivation and your heart is into that. But let's talk about the back office aspect of getting that together. So you say it's a registered LLC with the state. Who helped you to establish that? Was it some type of resources or mentor locally that told you how to go about doing that? And did you have a business plan prior to establishing that to get some projections? What was that process like for you?
Yeah. So in all honesty, right? Um, Bridge Language Solution was my first established LLC. Not that I haven't tried to establish other businesses or maybe had other ideas. I just never got the LLC for it. And I probably created other business plans for like catering and juicing and stuff like that. But for the Bridge Language Solutions, it was really like a spur of the moment type of thing. The situation just kind of presented itself while I was having a meeting with someone on my job end for the FEC. And they were just like illustrating how much of a need it is around here for translations and bridging that gap between English and Spanish, right? Um, and I'm like, it just dawned on me, and I'm like, I should definitely do something like that. Like, I could do it. I could start something like that, you know, or be like the beginning point of South Bend having a very diverse English and Spanish type of community, which we already do because we have the people, right? But sometimes the resources get mixed where it's only like certain events you only see Spanish people, or certain events it be just like, you know, us English speaking people, and it's like we can learn so much from each other and we need each other, right, to move forward in the community. I could do something like that. But in all honesty, I got a lot of motivation and a lot of help to do my LLC from Kay Farlow, Rain Adams, which is my coworker, a lot of Google, right? A lot of AI, Chat GPT asking questions and things like that. Um, and really just doing the research prior to deciding like, hey, I'm going to invest my money to get this LLC.
Okay. Okay. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for sharing that information, because to hear you, I hear the passion. You say, I'm going to do so much to get this LLC, and that's because what's behind it. And you want to help so many people. So again, I want to thank you personally for putting forth such a great effort to bridge that gap for the community. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. I hear unity behind that, and that's a good thing. Yes. So let me ask you this then. I heard you a couple of times in your statement talk about you working as well as starting a business, and so many entrepreneurs in the community have a similar story, working either a part-time or full-time job, and at the same time trying to find the time to invest in their own organization, their own business, whether it's for profit or nonprofit. So with that lifestyle, let me just ask you this, because you're a mother. How do you tend to balance out the time that is required sometimes? Because as an entrepreneur, having your own business and working a job and then being a mother, do you find yourself pulled in so many different directions at times? How do you balance that out?
Oh my goodness, yes, absolutely. You know, everything in life is a sacrifice. So sometimes you have to decide what hard do you prefer in your life, right? Nothing is going to be easy. So yes, I have a full-time job. I am a single woman with 3 children, right? And I'm also trying to establish a business. Does it get misconstrued a lot and my schedule be like cramped and trying to do sports and everything? Absolutely. It is a lot, right? But it is a sacrifice that I am willing to put forward and willing to deal with for a couple of years. It ain't nothing lasts forever. So I know it's not going to be like this forever, but I'm willing to sacrifice sleepless nights, right? Sometimes I go to sleep really, really late and have to wake up super, super early, right? Because I have to balance and I have to create time for my personal business because I want it to grow in between my everyday life. And that's just a personal dealing with yourself that you have to really decide what is important to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I like how you said that. It's something personal that you have to decide what's important to you. And I guess you use that as fuel to keep you motivated, because you can kind of already see what it could be. You just have to make the effort to make sure it's established. So that's good information right there. Appreciate that. So now let's talk a little bit about the actual full-time business that you are a part of or a job that you have, which is also a resource, if I'm not mistaken, to the community. Talk a little bit about that, starting off with the name and what it does.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I am the bilingual financial counselor for the South Bend Financial Empowerment Center, and it is an amazing resource for the community. We provide free one-on-one financial counseling to all of those that are over the age of 18 who reside in South Bend. The services that we provide are banking services, so whether you're banked or unbanked, or underbanked, right? We help you create secure banking savings, whether you don't have any savings, you don't know where to start saving or how to save. We teach you all about savings, budgeting, debt management. We can pull credits. So we help you establish your credit, fix your credit. And Yeah, we recently started a legacy planning as well. So all of our clients will have a free year of trustandwill.com to create wills, living wills, power of attorney, proxy paperwork, and everything like that. So it is an amazing resource to the community.
Wow, wow, wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. And, you know, it's so much needed in the community, especially for not just the personal aspect of it, but also for these individuals who want to be business owners. Because tell me if you agree with this or not, and then if you can elaborate on how this could be helpful. Many business owners, they have their business and they are trying to establish their business credit. But I think sometimes what has been missing in the conversation is that the business credit has to be leveraged by one's personal credit. And so some people think sometimes that if their personal credit is not good, they somehow can dismiss that and just focus on building something with their business credit. Is that something that this resource can help with to clarify that understanding?
Yeah, absolutely. So the answer would be just basically no, right? So your business credit does have everything to do with your personal credit unless you have adequate unless you're already making money, right? So if you're already an established, you already been making money and you have a whole bunch of money to leverage a loan, then they're going to be looking at your personal credit because you're solely a one person man in this business, right? You're not a corporation. You're not already making millions and thousands of dollars where your personal credit doesn't even matter because they know that you're making this money. So therefore, your personal finance has to be established in order for you to create a business one. So that is definitely something that the Financial Empowerment Center can help with is with your personal credit in your personal finances, right? Unless you learn how to establish your personal finances and your personal credit in your personal life, then your business finances is not going to be established. One can't be better without the other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it actually does make sense. I appreciate you breaking that down, and I hope that our audience is hearing that there's something right here in the South Bend community that can help them to get their personal credit established so they can avoid the embarrassment that may come with thinking that you can be separate from your business in that way. You're very right about that. And I know LLC, limited liability companies and corps and small corps and things of that nature does separate the individual in regards to asset, but them banks, they still go have to find a way to have leverage, and they're going to look at that person. So thank you for sharing that. You know, how is it that a person can connect with you all with this resource in the community, and also how can they connect with you or collaborate with you for your personal business so they can be a contributing factor?
Yeah. So for the free one-on-one financial counseling, we do have a website, www.southbendfec.org. And if you go on the site, it's going to ask you just some generic questions at first. Are you over the age of 18? Are you a resident of South Bend? Once those are answered and you qualify, then it would take you to create a profile. And in that profile, you can go ahead, put your personal information, and it will take you to another page to create an appointment with your financial counselor, which will either be myself or Rain Adams. And you'll pick your time and date. And that is how you would be the best way to create an appointment with us will be through the website.
Okay, okay. And also in connection with your business, how can one collaborate with you?
Yep. So for Bridge Language Solutions, I also have a website right now. It says like soon to come. There isn't information on there, so it's Bridge BRYDGELS.com. Also, my business phone number, which would be 574-329-6359.
Okay, okay. You know, you left the door open for me to mess with you right there because it looked like you was trying to remember it there.
I
So
know. I'm like, look, I got three phones, okay? I got a personal phone, a business phone, and then a full-time phone for my job. I had to think.
that's okay. That's okay. You're a busy person. So, you know, I want to thank you for really sharing this information because, again, I think it's going to be very much instrumental in helping many people, in addition to entrepreneurs, business owners, but just the community as a whole. I'm really excited to see what the results are going to be when it comes to the unification of the languages of persons, whether they speak Spanish or English, and see how everyone can come together and work as a in one accord. That's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing you spearheading that. And if you need me for anything, you let me know so I can see how I could be any help or assistance. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So when it comes to challenges and some of the things you mentioned, what are some words of advice that you can give our audience when it comes to facing those challenges or dealing with failures? Because earlier you mentioned that you try other business avenues, but it was just this one that kind of picked up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The best thing that I can say is nothing lasts forever, right? So sometimes when failures happen, we can be misled to feel like, oh, I can't do this. And it's not necessarily that you can't do this, you just maybe not meant to do that in particular, right? Maybe you're meant to do something else. You just don't know it yet because I can't even begin here to tell you that just last year I even thought about anything that had to do with translation and creating this service for my Spanish speaking and my English speaking. I've never in a million years would have thought that that was something that I would have started or even established at all. It was never a thought in mind. So sometimes it's not the I can't do it. It's just maybe that's not the right thing. Or maybe just right now it's not the best time. But always stay motivated and keep your dreams alive. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And that was powerful in what you said. Keep your dreams alive. Really appreciate that. One last thing I'm thinking about, I want to ask you is your dad. He's still operating and functioning in that business, correct? Okay.
Yes, yes, he is.
Okay. Do you think you can talk to Poppy and tell Dad I want to get him on this show so we can talk a little bit about what he got going on as well and see how we can promote him a little bit? Is it possible you can throw a little reference out there for your friend here?
So yeah, absolutely. That is definitely something I can do. You're definitely going to need a translator because he does not, I mean, he speaks English, but not fluently. He's going to have a hard time. Um, but his primary language will be Spanish.
Okay. Okay. Well, you just opened up the door. So when we have you come on next time, let's have Daddy with us and you be their translator. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Sounds like a plan.
Good, good. Well, listen, Bella, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and sharing all these wonderful details of what you're doing. We're looking forward to your success. And thank you again for giving us the opportunity to interview you, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure anytime. I am definitely available. I would definitely come back.
All right, good stuff. And for our audience, we want to thank you for taking the time to joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business. As you know, we always encourage you to continue to be a boss and be boss-minded. And we're looking forward to seeing you again for another episode. You all take care and have a wonderful day.